Welcome to Lifestyle Alchemy. I'm Sydney, medical astrologer, energetic alchemist, and transformation expert. In this podcast, I share what I'm actually living and learning. Sometimes that's decoding my birth chart. Sometimes it's rewiring and regulating my nervous system. Sometimes it's just real talk about what's working and what's not. This show goes beyond astrology. You'll hear about health and wellness, mindset and energy work, manifestation, spirituality, and all the things that help us actually embody who we're meant to be. Let's dive in. Hello, and welcome back to Lifestyle Alchemy. Okay, so I missed a week last week, and I was going to come on here and be like, I'm sorry, blah, 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 blah. And then I was like, let me be so honest. I'm really not sorry. That's just what I needed. I needed a week off. I actually thought I was going to take today off as well, or this week off as well. And then I was like, you know what? No, I have something I want to share. But I don't know if any of you guys are projectors, like human design projectors, but if you are, if you know, sometimes we just need to chill and just like not do the most, not do all the things, not check all the boxes. And sometimes like that, obviously that's just like not how our world is really designed. And so we're much more programmed to be like, no, like I need to push through. I need to do all the things. I have these commitments. And yes, of course, like you want to be as consistent as possible, especially when you have something like a business or a podcast, or if you've literally made like plans or commitments with people who are counting on you. But I just kind of didn't feel like it was going to be like life or death if I missed a week. We just had such a crazy, I was just actually just talking to one of my friends earlier. We just had such a fucking insane month of May that, I mean, like some of it was, you know, really hard. And then some of it was really happy, but it was just like from one extreme to the next, it was so much heightened emotion and it was just a lot. And so I just kind of found myself like once we moved into June, even though like everything is good, like, you know, I'm fully recovered physically and emotionally from the miscarriage, and like Corey's doing well, and you know, all of that. It was just like, man, like I just need a breather. Like that was so much like on my nervous system. You know, like I said, even the highs, even the really positive, like getting engaged and like all of that, starting to plan the wedding. It's kind of really top heavy in the planning. Like, you know, we had to reserve, you know, a place for the dinner reception. We had to reserve, I chose to reserve a florist because I still want a bouquet, even though it's like a micro wedding. And I bought my dress. I like, you know, all those things that and the photographer, like we had to put a pretty hefty deposit down for that. And so it's like top heavy stuff, and that takes mental energy, physical energy. And then it's like my nervous system just kind of, after I got those things like figured out and solidified, my nervous system just kind of crashed and was like, all right, so we're just going to limit the input and the output for like a week or so. And so that's what I've been doing. And anyway, so everything is all good. Everything is all happy. But so, okay, here's something I just like, this is going to be a quick podcast, which, you know, for me, that still might be like 25 minutes. We'll see. But I just wanted to pop in here and talk about something that I have talked about here on the podcast before, but I want to hit it from potential. Like, I just want to give another, I don't know if it's necessarily a different angle, but I want to give another like real life example that just happened last night. And I feel like I teach and communicate most effectively when it's something like that's really fresh that I literally just like did or went through. And that's also part of my human design, being a 6'3" profile line. Like I am like the archetype is called like the role model and the martyr, I think, is the second one. And it's all about like trial and error and like lived experience gain, like wisdom that you gained like through going through some shit. So anyway, if you're like ever wondering why I tell so many stories and like personal examples, that's why. Okay, so the topic is this one thing, and I'm probably gonna name the episode something like this, so you'll probably already have an idea. But like this one thing is what I have learned makes you feel so refreshing and like pure to other people, and that is a really magnetic and pretty rare actually rare energy to feel, or quality to have in today's day and age, when so many people are just kind of chameleoning themselves and like watering themselves down. And like, look, I've been there too, so I am not talking shit, but you know, in today where it's hard to know like what is actually someone's real opinion and what is AI, you know, what is ChatGPT, what is someone's real voice, or what is someone's true feelings or thoughts or, you know, beliefs, whatever, and what is not. And I, you know, there's just so much like politically correct stuff. There's so much like reality TV where people are so media trained, and you're just like, can we just tell the truth? Like, can you just say what you really think and not worry about like everything? And, you know, I get it. It's like, obviously most of us don't get on line, or really it doesn't matter if it's online or if it's in person. Most of us don't enter conversations of any kind wanting to like ruffle feathers or have any kind of controversy or whatever. Like most of us, there are some people who like truly that is their whole mission in life. It's just to be a contrarian and to be a like fire starter or something, but that's not me, and I don't think that's most people. So I think whenever people come in contact like with just, you know, someone, whatever kind of context that's in, whether that's in dating or whether it's in like a podcast format or just a friendship, or, you know, just someone that you come in contact with in your regular everyday life, just like an acquaintance or a service provider or something. I think whenever you come in contact with someone who is just a really, really good communicator and truly just like says what they means what they say, and knows how to ask for what they want, set boundaries in a really like respectful way that doesn't feel like disarming or alarming or, you know, combative or anything like that. I think that is such an underrated characteristic, and I actually, dare I say, skill. I mean, I think it is such a, you know, it's considered, communication is like considered a soft skill, but I just I don't think there's anything really super soft about it. Like, I think it is so critical and so important, so underrated. I think it's something that, and I think it's an art that we are really truly missing in today's day and age, where so much communication is just happening like from behind a keyboard. And I think like we are just not having, like, so many people work from home, which is like so amazing, but it's also like we're missing out on so many aspects of communication, like body language and spatial awareness and just all kinds of things, like facial expressions, especially if you work for a company or you're in situations where you are on calls where you can't see them, like they don't have their camera on. It's like, then you can't even see their facial expressions. You can't see like when someone might be about to start talking, and like, so people are like talking at the same time, and it's like awkward, and it's like, no, you go first. No, go ahead. It's like so fucking weird. And it's just crazy because that obviously so much of that has transpired just since COVID. Like, even just before COVID, it wasn't like that so much, you know? But anyway, and so I was just thinking about how this is a skill that I'm not saying like I'm like a perfect communicator or a perfect orator, speaker or anything like that, but I am a damn good communicator, especially in the context of my romantic relationship. And that is something that I had echoed and reflected back to me over and over and over and over throughout my time when I was dating, or even just like not necessarily dating a person, but like just talking to them, like vetting them out. I had that said to me so many different times. I mean, from probably almost every single, if not every single man that I interacted with or went on a date with or whatever, is that it's just like a breath of fresh air. Like my energy felt very pure, and I felt like it was refreshing how direct I was, but like not in a combative way, not in a like challenging, like I'm trying to be the masculine energy here. Like it was just, I mean, like just truly, like I just mean what I say and I say what I mean, and I don't waste my time. And I just have learned how to like advocate for myself in every context of life, and how to speak up and, share what I desire, what I don't desire. And that like is something that I think if you have that skill and if you've developed that kind of art within yourself, I think it's easy to not think about it and to like overlook it, take it for granted. But then whenever you're like in situations with people who clearly are underdeveloped in that skill, you're like, oh shit, like, okay, I'm not appreciating that enough. And it's just I think it's something that, especially as women, we need to develop. We need to be able to speak up for ourselves and advocate for ourselves and communicate our desires, our likes, our dislikes, our boundaries in ways that can still be very, very feminine and very like magnetic and attractive and conducive to, the kind of relationships that we want to have, especially when it's like romantic. But I think that's just something that it's so underdeveloped. And so I just want to tell us a quick story of just a situation last night. And this is a very personal and intimate example. So like some of you might be like, TMI, Sydney, but that's just what we do here. Okay. This is the example I have. So, okay. And I'm tying this back to previous episode, at least one previous episode where I talked about putting yourself first within your communication. Okay. And so this is a direct example of a time last night when I put myself first in my communication with Corey. And it turned out favorably for me, meaning I got the result that I wanted, and I definitely would not have otherwise. And I didn't do it in a combative way that like could have potentially just ruined the whole like situation. Okay, so let me just get into the story so this makes more sense. All right, so as you guys know, we are trying to conceive. And so I am in my ovulatory phase right now. So you know what that means. And so last night we were just having a regular night. Like we were just kind of chilling. Like we made dinner, or I made dinner. He did the dishes. We're watching one of our shows that we're watching together on the couch. And we're just kind of hanging out, but it's not like super romantic. It's not very like, we're not being like cuddling, like we're not touching, like it's just very typical night. But it wasn't feeling super intimate. And obviously I knew that the goal, the plan was to be physically intimate because we're trying to have a baby. And so we knew that was what was going to happen. Like after we went upstairs and like took showers, we're getting ready for bed and everything. But the energy wasn't like really feeling quite like that. Like it wasn't feeling bad. We weren't fighting by any means. Like everything was fine. But I just was like, this isn't the vibe that I'm really looking for. Like I know some people can just like go from 0 to 100 like just at the snap of your fingers, and for me maybe sometimes, but for me, I was desiring to have kind of a better, smoother transition between just sitting on the couch and watching TV, like on opposite sides of the couch, to, full on intimacy. Like, I just wanted more of a transition period that made me feel more into it. And less clinical, I guess you could say. Like, I don't ever want intimacy to feel clinical or to feel like we're just doing it for a purpose of like trying to get pregnant. Like, I think it should always feel super fun, and like I like a level of spontaneity to it, which obviously, like, there's not much spontaneity whenever you're like literally, okay, I'm ovulating, like, let's have sex, like it kind of takes like the spontaneity away from it. So I was like, okay, we need to add something back in here. And so I said to Corey, I was like, hey, do you want to do like quick little massages first? Which that's something that we do. Like, usually we don't do it like super quick, but that's something that we do. I have like a massage oil, or like it's a bar, but it's really nice. And like we'll do that, and like it's just very sensual. It just makes you feel closer to each other, at least for us. And so I was like, it's already kind of late, maybe we just like do a mini version of that. Like, and he was like, I don't know, it's already kind of late. Like, I have to get up super early tomorrow. Wednesday mornings is his very early day where he literally gets to work at like 5 a.m. So he gets up at like 4. And so he's like, I don't know if I really want to do that. And I was like, okay, well, would you want like, so actually, no. So I said, okay. So what I'm trying to accomplish here is I'm trying to create more of a transition between just, regular like daily life and intimacy. 'Cause right now I am not feeling especially like close to you, and I want to feel close to you. And so that's what I'm trying. Like, it's not necessarily that I'm like just dying to do massages, but like my goal, what I'm trying to figure out right now is how to create more of a transition between the two states. And and so I said, whether it's that or whether it's like we do some of our little like conversation, like we have some intimacy and like really long-term relationship like conversation cards. They're like, it's like a deck just with a bunch of amazing like really deep intimate questions, just things that you wouldn't probably think to ask each other, especially when you've been together for a long time. So we love those, and we haven't done that in a while. And so I was like, maybe we do like 5 of those or something. And, it's just something that can kind of like get us out of our just regular night routine and into this. And he was like, okay, yeah, like, so, but so my point in sharing that, so we ended up doing a mini version of the massages that sounded better to him. And so that's what we did. And it was great. And it was a great transition. It was exactly what I wanted and needed. And I think it also obviously helped him too, even though that wasn't like the first thing that was on his mind. And so again, my point in sharing this is not to just like give you too much, not to overshare, about my sex life, but but my point is, I just felt like really solid in my communication. I felt really like proud of myself in the way that instead of whenever he was like, no, I think it's just a little late, like, blah, 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 blah. Instead of being like all huffy and puffy and like, okay, well, whatever, like I feel really rejected now, or like, why don't you want to do that? Like, blah, 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 blah. Like, instead of acting like that, which obviously would have ruined, the vibe, it wouldn't have felt good. It would have felt forced. It would have felt, whatever, obligatory probably at that point. I just was able to like back up and be like, okay, so it's not super important that it's like the massage necessarily, but what I'm trying to accomplish by suggesting that is just a transition period. And so if you have another suggestion for that or another way that you think we could do that, then that is what I'm looking for. And that's what I'm asking for. And then he was able to make sure that that need of mine was met. And it was all done within a very like feminine way on my part. And then he was able to like meet that need and satisfy me in that way, which of course then feels like it makes him, it's a that's more of like the masculine's, like he was able to provide that for me. And so, that I just thought like that was a good example of a time when, again, like I not only was I very clear and pure in my communication, like I didn't have any ulterior motives, I wasn't manipulative. I just literally said flat out, like, this is what I desire. This is what, and this is why. And I also put myself first in my communication, in that I let him know, like, this is what I'm looking for. This is what I need. And I think there's so many times in so many different contexts, not just romantic, but I mean, even I was talking to another friend a few days ago about, she was saying she has some clients who, they clearly have something going on with them, like health wise. They know that they're experiencing symptoms. They know that, something is not quite right. Maybe hormone imbalance or something. And they go to the doctor, they get labs run, whatever. They come back and they say, oh, you're fine. And they're just like, okay. And they just like leave and they don't pursue further answers, or further digging in to, what could be going on with them. And so my friend was just saying, like, it's so difficult to sometimes to make women understand that, like, you have to advocate for yourself. It doesn't make you masculine. It doesn't make you bad. It doesn't make you a bitch. It doesn't make you difficult, blah, 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 blah. Some people might think that you're difficult, but who fucking cares? Like, if that makes me difficult, if advocating for myself and putting myself first, and like, who the hell else is going to do that? Like, certainly no one else, especially in the sense of, like a medical situation. Like, nobody else is going to advocate for me. Like, your mom is not going to do it for you past a certain age, probably. And she shouldn't have to. And, in a romantic context, like, yes, your partner might be thinking of you or they might prioritize you. But again, probably not if you're not prioritizing yourself first, and they can't read your mind. You can't read their mind. And so, yeah, I just really wanted to touch on this again. I think it is infinitely important to just refine that skill. You don't have to be an oversharer. I don't think that you should in most contexts. Like, obviously, if you have a podcast, like, you're probably going to share a bunch of stuff. But in the context of like just person to person, like conversations or like with your partner, do not over explain yourself. Do not, go into like, oh, I'm sorry. Or on the opposite, like, find yourself just getting all like silent treatment or shut down, or you're getting all snippy and now you're frustrated and they can tell, and now you've ruined the mood, and they're like, you're stonewalling them and they're like, what's wrong? And you're like, I'm fine. And like, you're clearly not fucking fine, So, I think that is running rampant, like poor communication, and also just impure communication. Like, we're saying, so many people are just saying things that they don't really mean because they think it's the right thing to say, or because they don't feel safe, I guess, maybe communicating what they really feel. Or they're just trying to be the cool girl, they're trying to be the cool girl that doesn't really have feeling, doesn't really have emotions, doesn't really care too much about anything. Just wants someone that's going to come in, swoop in and just like read their mind and treat them like a queen and, be the savior. And like, that's just not going to happen if you are not pure in your, first of all, intentions, and second of all, your communication. There was a situation, I remember I was like chatting with this guy. We never ended up like meeting up or anything like that. But I'm sure if you've been in the dating world anytime recently, like, you've probably come across a guy who was like a little bit jaded by this, I guess, phenomenon of this trend of girls, or I'm going to say girls because like a true woman like wouldn't do this, but girls who are just, like on the dating apps and matching up with people so that they can like get a free meal, like just so they can literally get taken out on a date, like to a nice restaurant, and like not have to pay for their food. And so that's just so crazy to me. And so this guy that I had been chatting with a little bit, he had said something about like that, something along the lines of just like, you know, a lot of women just are using men to like go, you know, get a free meal and whatever. And so because of that, he like just only did like coffee dates or like free dates first to like see if he liked them or whatever. And he had said something kind of indicating that maybe I was also one of those women or girls who like acted that way or did that. And I was like, no, whoa, no. We're not going to do that. I was like, first things first, like, here's what you need to know about me. I value my time and my enjoyment so like way too much to do something like that, or to go out with someone that I don't really like, or I don't really want to get to know, or I don't see going anywhere further. Like that would be torture. That would be a punishment to me, just to go out with someone just to get a free meal. Like I do not need a free meal. I do not need a free meal that fucking bad that I would go out with someone who I'm not interested in. Like I would use someone to get a free meal that I am not truly like intrigued by or wanting to get to know. And like, so you're not going to talk to me like I'm one of those like lower value girls. Like that ain't me. And he was like so taken aback by that. Like just the fact that I was like, I value and appreciate my time and my joy, like my pleasure so much, like way too much, so much more than someone who would do something like that. And that like that totally changed his posture and like the way that he spoke to me completely. It was like a switch flipped, and he was like all of a sudden just, he came at me differently. And of course, like still it didn't work out, like we just weren't a match, so we never ended up meeting up. But that was just something that was an example. And he even said like that your communication and the way that you like hold yourself and carry yourself and just communicate is so pure and it's so refreshing. And I've had multiple people tell me that, both in like romantic relationships, or romantic settings and in friendships. And so I promise you, I'm not saying any of this to be like, I'm so cool, I'm so good. Like, I'm not trying to brag. I'm just trying to tell you, like, this is a skill and an art and a quality and a characteristic that will make you so fucking refreshing. It will make you feel like a drink of water in the Arizona heat, which I'm telling you right now, it's bad. It's intense right now. I was in my car earlier and it was like 113 or 115. I can't remember now, but I mean, does it really matter? Once it's past 110, it's like whatever. Like it doesn't even matter. So yeah, like, don't you want to feel like a drink of cold water in the Arizona desert summer heat? I mean, I do. I like being told that. Like, I like being told I'm different or I'm refreshing, I'm pure, and it doesn't, like, pure doesn't mean like, oh, you're like a prude or you're too innocent, you're too naive. Like, no, it's just like what you see is what you get. You're not someone who plays games. You're not manipulative. Like, you know how to put yourself first in your communication so that you do get what you want through a pure intentioned way. And that, I think, is just, it's so energetically clean and it's so magnetic as well. So, okay, that's what I have for you guys today. Yeah, I will tell you, so this weekend is Corey's birthday and it's my birthday on June 30th. So his is the 20th, mine is the 30th. So we have our little 10-day birthday week. And, it is my intention that I would record a podcast for you guys next week. But just in case I don't, just in case I get wrapped up in birthday festivities and I just like don't, then I will talk to you guys in July. Okay. I hope that you have an amazing rest of your day and week, and I will talk to you soon.